join in Laura Ingraham now. I can't wait to hear what she thinks.
I mean,
I can't,
great.
Laura,
Really good.
you need note cards to keep up with all the developments that have happened in just the last 12 hours. From John Kerry saying it would be an unbelievably small attack to then saying, hey, you know, Syria can get out of this if they just give up their chemical weapons, to Russia getting back into the game, to now Syria saying, yeah, we will give up our chemical weapons. And the bottom line here is the president has an escape hatch, right?
Well, we'll see. I mean, think of Henry Kissinger's shuttle diplomacy in 1973, 1975. We now have shuffle diplomacy or stumble diplomacy. We stumble into these scenarios where Kerry's asked a question in London yesterday, and he's kind of just freelancing it. You know, he's not on a teleprompter, obviously, and he just, well, yeah, I guess there's some scenario. And the Russians are really smart. You know, they're not our friends, they're our adversaries still, but they're really smart. And so when Vladimir Putin can pump himself up both at home and globally, and his prestige is on the rise here, clearly, he steps in and says, whoa, Lavrov, Sergei, get this done for us. Step in. I can be the hero. Maybe I can even wrestle that Nobel Prize away from Obama or make him give it to me. And suddenly, you know, he's the man of the moment. I mean, I really am trying to say this is not a partisan, because I'm not thrilled with the Republican Party, as you know now, for many years. But if you just look at this objectively and think of, if this was a product rollout for a Fortune 500 company, and this was your job to sell this new product, and you had performed as these people have performed over the past 11, 12 days, you would clearly have been fired. So my question is, why do we still have the same foreign policy team in place if they're this incompetent across the board? It's a stunner.
We just hired him. The Secretary of State is brand new to the job, and we know that his stumble describing the attack as so small John McCain would probably have an aneurysm. And then we find all of a sudden that a little bit later the State Department walks back his statement when he walked back his statement when he said that if they gave up all their chemical weapons, then that would be one way to avoid the attack. And then in come the Russians in between. The president's got 6 network interviews lined up. And his first answer is, it looks like I have a brand new topic sentence.
Right, he has a new topic sentence, and the president at the same time has to confront all the questions. And Wallace asked it, of course, again last night. Your public support is not only not building, it's eroding. So the more Kerry goes out, the more you had the testimony on Capitol Hill. You sent out poor old General Dempsey and Susan Rice. You know, that's a great choice.
Great
choice for the anniversary.
But
Laura, great choice.
Laura,
it's embarrassing.
But John Kerry should get a quadruple raise today, because he, whether you believe it was a gaffe or not, or planned, he's taken President Obama off the hook. Now President Obama can come out tonight and say, you know what? I've rethought this whole thing. I did discuss this with Vladimir Putin at the G20 summit. I can only reveal it to you now, what we discussed, and we're going to go with diplomacy instead of a strike. Takes him out of the hands of Congress, giving him a big fat no, and it takes him out of the hands of the American public 80% to 20%.
The president's approval rating today is underwater, obviously. He's lost huge ground in just his rating on foreign policy. I think it's the Wall Street Journal poll that just came out today. This is an example of what happens when a community organizer who's used to doing the razzle-dazzle with Oprah and all of his celebrities thinks just through the sheer force of his personality and his magnetism, he can somehow change the chess pieces on the board. When you're dealing with someone like Russia, it's a great world power, even with all of its struggles, or China. This is not something that you can just stumble into. This is something that has to be incredibly well thought out. And from the beginning, it was not. And this lifeline that they're getting from Lavrov and Putin, I don't know how real it is. I don't know if we want to trust this. And it does not do anything to rescue Obama. I think he would like it to, but I think he looks ridiculous here.